Hello everyone, this is Showtime 112. The Second Indo-Pakistani War erupted in September 1965, igniting fierce conflicts in the skies and on the ground. The very first aerial clash unfolded on the evening of September the 1st, when Pakistani sabers engaged Indian vampires. If you missed that intense battle, be sure to check out our previous video. As days progressed, ground battles intensified, accompanied by more aerial skirmishes, primarily between Indian Nats and Pakistani sabers. On September the 6th, Indian ground forces made a move across the international border near Lahore, aiming to relieve pressure on their troops in Kashmir. This strategic advance seemed to push the Pakistani Air Force into action, prompting them to launch an aggressive plan to neutralize the Indian Air Force by attacking several airfields. A total of 46 Pakistani aircraft were allocated to strike 5 Indian air bases and 3 radar sites. This force consisted of 38 F-86 Sabres and 8 T-33s, with plans for 12 P-57s to follow after sunset. However, the operation was fraught with complications. Many aircraft were unavailable due to close air support commitments, combat damage, or mechanical failures. Furthermore, a significant number of aircraft were assigned to defensive patrols, anticipating a retaliatory strike from India. The Sargodha base commander, who was supposed to provide the bulk of the striking force, called the commander-in-chief after 4 p.m. He reported that only 8 Sabres were ready for action and requested a 24-hour delay, or at the very least, that the 8 Sabres target a single objective instead of 2. This request was denied, and 2 groups of 4 Sabres were dispatched to attack the air bases at Adhampur and Halwara. Each group faced mechanical issues, leading to a reduction to just 3 operational Sabres per flight. The first group, from number 11 Squadron, was led by squadron leader Mohammed Mahmood Alam, probably the best-known pilot in the subcontinent. As they were heading for Adhampur, they spotted 4 hunters at Tarn Taran. The hunters, part of number 7 Squadron and commanded by Wing Commander Zakaria, also noticed the Pakistani formation, leading to a heated low-level dogfight. Alam zeroed in on the number 4 Hunter, piloted by squadron leader Ajit Kumar Rawley. He opened fire, unsure of his hits, but Rawley's aircraft still crashed and exploded. It is generally agreed that Rawley crashed while attempting to turn, and this can be counted as a maneuvering kill for Alam. In his interview for John Fricker's semi-official Battle for Pakistan, the Air War of 1965, Alam mentions shooting down a second Hunter, damaging a third, and 2 other Pakistani pilots are also given damage credits to a Hunter each. Indian sources and even other Pakistani sources dismissed this, and it looks like Rawley was the only casualty of this battle. Ultimately, Alam aborted the attack on Adhampur, leaving the operation far from the anticipated success. Meanwhile, the second Sabre formation from number 5 Squadron took off around 5:20 p.m., led by squadron leader Sarfaraz Rafiki, who had already made his mark by downing 2 Indian vampires in the war's opening skirmish. Rafiki's number 2 was Flight Lieutenant Cecil Chowdhury, while Flight Lieutenant Yunus Hussain took the 3rd position. On their way towards Halwara Air Base, they came across Alam's formation, which was returning from their aborted attack. They were warned about Hunter presence, which by now was clearly expected. But Rafiki's flight arrived in the vicinity of Halwara Air Base without being detected. Low light conditions, however, prevented them from actually spotting the airfield or any lucrative targets on it. They spent several minutes circling at about 200 feet above ground looking for it. What they eventually spotted were two hunters in the air, patrolling over the airfield. The two Indian fighters were piloted by flying officers Pingale and Gandhi. They had received a radio call that Hawara airbase was under attack, so they returned over it, but couldn't see anyone. The Pakistani leader Rafiki saw two enemy fighters at 12 o'clock, slightly higher and in the left-hand turn. He followed the left one and opened fire. He achieved a total surprise as flying officer Pingale had no time to react. He ejected and eventually landed safely. What happened next is not entirely clear, since different sources give different stories. It seems that Rafiki attempted to attack the second hunter too, but his guns jammed. He then asked his wingman, Cecil Chowdhury, to take the lead. As this was happening, Flying Officer Gandhi took advantage of the situation and maneuvered behind one of the sabers, either Rafiki or Chowdhury. He opened fire and claimed the destruction of the enemy fighter. But this is unlikely. Sources such as the official Indian history of the 1965 war say that no wreckage was found to confirm Gandhi's claim. His fire was apparently inaccurate, but as he was focusing on the saber in front of him, another saber came from behind and shot him down. Gandhi also ejected successfully. Pakistani sources don't agree which one of their pilots shot down Gandhi. According to Kaiser Tufail, it was Cecil Chowdhury. Sajjad Haider, on the other hand, thinks it was Yunus Hussain. In any case, the Pakistani flight leader decided to disengage and head back to base. But the fight was far from over. Two more hunters were flying at 10,000 feet above the airbase. They were piloted by Flight Lieutenant Rathore and Flying Officer Neb. Rathore spotted one of the sabers and dived on it. Finally, he saw another saber to the left, and he ordered his wingman to attack it. Rathore was approaching quickly. He opened fire from about 500 yards, observing hits. He then fired again as he got closer. He noticed flame and smoke, and eventually the Pakistani jet crashed into the ground with no ejection, about 6 miles from the Hawara airbase. Squadron leader Sarfaraz Rafiki, the most successful Pakistani fighter pilot until that moment, with 3 aerial victories, was killed. The Indian wingman, Flying Officer Neb, pursued the saber flown by Yunus Hussain. Pakistani number 2, Cecil Chowdhury, noticed the hunter behind Hussain and warned him. Yunus Hussain chose to brake vertically for some reason, which enabled Neb to close the distance and take aim. The saber caught fire and then crashed. Just like Rafiki, Yunus Hussain didn't eject, and he was killed. Initially, there were plenty of overclaims in this battle. Chowdhury, the only Pakistani survivor, reported that they were fighting no less than 10 hunters, and that he had also shot down a third hunter. On the Indian side, there are 4 claims. 2 of them are certain, those by Rathore and Neb, who shot down Rafiki and Hussain respectively. Gandhi's claim can't be backed up by evidence, and there is also the anti-aircraft artillery claim, which can't be matched with a saber loss. Out of 3 sabers, only Cecil Chowdhury returned to base, so Pakistan clearly lost 2 sabers and 2 pilots. In the 2 battles described today, India lost 3 aircraft and 1 pilot. Despite the somewhat favorable ratio for Pakistan, the attacks on the 2 Indian air bases were a failure, as they didn't achieve the desired effect. The attack on Pathankot was far more successful, but we will leave that for another video. There's one more thing I'd like to talk about. Trustmaster is giving me a commission for every purchase in their web shop to which my creator code is applied. I have decided to give away the commission to you, the viewers. You can't get the discount directly in the web shop, but if you contact me, I will pay you the commission amount to your PayPal account. It's mostly between 3 and 7%. Check the video description for details, whether it's for flight sims or other. Thank you for your time and keep watching Showtime 112.